Hey everybody, what's up? This is the Power P, and we are going to talk about some great topics tonight. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Clockwatch YouTube, and also we just started a new thing today. We have a new IG account, Power_P_ladies. So you can follow us on there, and also want to suggest to all of our followers that we have, if you have any questions that we would like to discuss or you want to hear us discuss on the podcast, we recommend that you send us a little DM about your question, and we would love to talk about it on our next show. Our Gmail account, if you want to remain anonymous, powerpladies@gmail.com. And, just hit us up for questions. Make sure you comment, like, subscribe. And we are very, very excited to get this show started. And we love to have everybody participating, and we love to be here tonight. So thank you guys for joining us too. And who is next?
I'll take it.
All right.
Hello, everybody. It's Christy. Thanks for coming back. My apologies if I was inebriated last night. Yeah, will not be. But thank you for joining Power P. We are here every Monday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can also check us out on Clockwatch on on Sundays and Tuesdays, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time as well. You can go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube channel, our Facebook Clockwatch group, and like Lady E mentioned, we now have a new IG account for Power P. Power P_ ladies. Please check it out. Follow us. We're trying to grow and make everything happen. But I want to actually get to that comment real quick before I send it over to Miss Spitter, because it's what does the P mean? Please explain. So the P is many possibilities. It's perspective. It's perception. It's placating. It's anything you want that P to be, it can be. So on that note, I'm going to go ahead and send it over to Miss Spitter.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for coming back. Mrs. Spitter. You might see my husband on the Sunday night or Tuesday night on the Clockwatch, 9 p.m. Here on Mondays with these lovely ladies. I started as a fan and now I'm on the show. I'm looking forward to everybody's comments. Alan, I know you're out there. You said you're gonna be hitting us up with all the wacky comments tonight. So looking forward to hearing from everybody. We got a lot of great topics. I guess we can start getting into it.
All right. So we'll go ahead and start with our first topic today. Double standards. Why is it okay for a man to fill in the blank, but women can't? And we're not going to just keep it that way. We're also going to say vice versa as well. Why is it okay for women to fill in the blank, but men can't? So who wants to start this off?
I really wish Montana was here, because this was like her main topic that she wanted to discuss. But we can always come back to it, whenever she comes on or decides to whatever. Come on. So, but I mean, who wants to go first?
I go.
Okay, go
ahead. I have an entire page of things I wrote down that are double standards, and I feel like I could keep going for days because there's so many.
Right.
Just in attitudes, like speaking up, being assertive, talking too much. That one gets me. If a girl talks more than a minute, guys like, what? Maybe it's just my guy, but being demanding, giving constructive criticism, being angry. How come men can be angry? Women are bitchy if they're angry.
Mm-hmm.
Funny. What were you expecting, mister?
about the power P. So when she gave the answer, he was not expecting what we gave him.
Yeah, we know what he was expecting.
I know what he was.
But go ahead, Mrs. Spitter. Continue.
And I think all these things like are things we need to make normal. We need to keep doing it. We need to do it every day. Speak up, be assertive, say what we mean until everybody gets used to it. And then, I'm in management. I know, Chrissy, you are too. For women bosses, it's the same way. They expect women bosses to be like nice and praise you. And if you give criticism, you're a jerk. And this is to women and men. Like, most women don't like a woman boss.
Yeah.
If you have any kind of authority, they're like, But if a man has authority, it's like, oh, he's a leader. Like, just being intelligent. I know, like, for me, in school, I was a huge math nerd. And from the time I was little, I didn't know that girls didn't like math, except for every teacher told me. So, oh, you like math and you're a girl? That's great. Most girls like reading. Like, numbers are too hard for our little girl brains, I guess. There he is.
Hi, Alan.
Being like career oriented, being out of the house a lot to go to work. The whole sex topic. There's a million things that you could get into with that. Being open about sex, expecting to be satisfied by sex, having multiple partners, rejecting somebody, not wanting to settle down, not wanting kids.
That's Stephanie, if you're out there watching, comment on that one.
Because guys are allowed to say that.
Yeah. A lot of people are they're like, oh, a woman doesn't want kids? Like, they feel like that's like mind blowing. Like, what? Like, it's possible. Okay. Hi.
I was reading today about famous people that get like all these articles about them because what they spend on their beauty routines, but only women. And famous guys are spending the same on their clothes and on their beauty routines and stuff.
Just the barbershop alone. You know how much I pay for my boys' haircuts? It's like $25 just to sit in the chair. But I can go get my hair done for $25 if I go to the Bronx, down to the Boogie Down, and go to my hood. I can get it done. I wanted to get to this.
And I only need a haircut every couple months, not like every 2 weeks or whatever.
Yeah, and they go every week. What are you talking about? Both every week.
Yes,
when I'm in the mood, I'll just stay away, lest you pushing. Otherwise, I'm what?
I don't know what hoinging is. Is that a thing?
Hoinging.
Explain that one.
Hoinging? What is that?
I don't know what that is. We're gonna wait for Mr. Lucky to explain.
And then this one's like dear to my heart. If the house is messy, it's definitely the wife's fault. Even though I'm not making the mess.
Maybe Mrs. Spitter had way more on this than we thought.
Sorry, John. I'll be there soon. And a little bonus note I have is period shaming. How come we all have them for our whole lives and we're not allowed to talk about them?
Exactly. Or you have to hide your tampons, or like, oh, I have my period. Like, you have to whisper it. Like, no, I got my period. I want everybody to hear it.
Oh, I don't care, but like, I'm bloated. Give me a donut because my goddamn period's here and it's pissing me off.
Like, are you pregnant? Like, no, I have my fucking period. Okay,
oh,
I'm 3 months pregnant.
Yeah.
So the guys that are watching, I know you're getting a lot of it from us women right now, but what do you feel like is okay for women to do but not men? Like, what do you feel like is a double standard that you guys get inflicted with?
Yes.
I know for me, my biggest thing is the aggression. I am constantly being told that I'm aggressive. When I'm not aggressive, I am assertive. I speak what I mean and mean what I speak. Okay, I make sure I know what I want, and I will go after it. But that doesn't make me aggressive. That makes me assertive. And why the hell can't I be assertive? If a man did that, that would be no problem. That's him going. He's action oriented. He's goal oriented. He's gonna, but for us, it's like, well, slow down, sweetheart. Don't run so fast with scissors. Like, no, move out my way before I stab you with them shit. Like, don't sit there and call me aggressive because of that.
You're gonna hurt yourself. It's like,
Yeah.
slow down.
Perfect timing.
Hey, Montana. Thank you.
Sorry.
Guys.
Guys, look, I still have sleep lines in my hand. I fell asleep. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
You must be on your period.
I'm a chick, so
I know.
that's what we do.
We're talking about your favorite subject tonight.
Yeah, this is your subject, double standards.
Oh, jeez.
Why is it okay for a man but not a woman? And vice versa. Guys, we're waiting for you. What is it okay for women to do but not men? So I'm waiting. Like, all you're going to hear is about a lady's perspective until you jump in. So don't get upset.
Right? You're not attacking men. Let's just put it out there right now. Because
I have actually walked up to a guy before, though, and told him, not for nothing, you're a beautiful man, and I appreciate how you look, and I think it. Thank you, babe.
Hold on to that one. That's
okay.
That's we're just kind of doing the double standards right now. But
yeah.
John says equality, the lawn, garbage, a bunch of shit. So what you mean? Like, okay, so that let me tell you. We're gonna go there, but I'm just gonna finish telling you. I'm sneezing because of allergies because I just cut my goddamn lawn yesterday. All right, so there is no double standard. I get on my ride on, then I go ahead and go on my walk behind for the areas that I can't get through the perimeter because the ride on doesn't go there, all the rocks. And then after I'm done with all that, I pull out the weed whacker and I go ham on the edges of the house. So no, it's definitely not. But I appreciate you for sharing. I don't need to attack you, but it's not all women. I don't want you to feel attacked.
Don't want that.
No, we're not attacking men, okay? We are just giving women's perspectives on things and what we have been through, okay? We are not speaking for all men. We are just speaking from our own experiences. Just putting that out there right now. Yeah. And I just want to say, I cut the grass and I take out the trash.
Same. A lot
of women don't do it. I understand that. It's probably the women you dated, the Puerto Rican you dated that you told me about. But those women think that the man should do everything else. But we talked. He thinks he should change up his type of women he dates.
I think a lot of the men that I've recently encountered are like, why are you cutting the grass? Just pay somebody to do it. Like, they don't even want to do it. Just pay somebody to do it.
They do say that.
Oh, hold on.
Oh, sweet.
My God. Here we go. Here we go.
You are banned. No, let me stop. We got a long one. You want to get this, Lady E?
Yeah, Stephanie says, I had a counseling session today with a man who cried throughout the whole hour-long combo. He apologized profusely and said, I'm not always like this, and I'm actually a really strong man. I had to reassure him that it was okay for him to cry and that there was no judgment from me. Wow. Thank you so much, Stephanie, for that comment, because a lot of men growing up was like, they were shunned upon if they can't show their feelings, they can't show their emotions, they can't cry, or else like everybody's gonna think that they're weak or they're, like not a man enough, like not man enough to like be with like in a relationship to hold down a woman or whatever the case may be. But like it's not true. And I think a lot of men and women should realize, it's okay for people to show their emotions, because that just means that they're passionate about their feelings and they're showing, that they have feeling.
Right.
Like if you don't
Yeah,
have
human.
if you have no feeling at all and you don't show emotion, you don't cry, like there's something's not right.
I told my son that last night. He was hiding back tears, and I go, "It is really okay to cry.
Yeah.
It's not like you're not allowed to cry just because you're a boy. It's okay. Go ahead,
Yes.
have a freaking meltdown. I get it." Go
Yeah,
ahead.
and my son cries too, and he'll cry to me, and I'm like, it's okay, just let it out, like just cry, and it's fine. And he's actually more emotional than my daughter, and my daughter's looking at me like, why is he crying? I'm like, she doesn't understand the whole concept. Like she wants to act tough, and he's like the opposite, and he's like he shows his emotions. So I'm like. I understand, like, because I'm both ways, so I understand both sides, and I'm trying to make them understand both sides, but not like judge each other for the way
Differences.
they, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
So I actually have to say that as a parent, I'm a hard ass. I am.
Here we go.
I
Shocking.
am. I am. And to my daughter, to my daughter and both my boys. And I think it's just because of the way that I grew up, right? When we were talking about emotions. It was also for me as a woman to not be victimized. Like my family, like you have to be a strong woman. And I think that's why people think I'm aggressive when I feel like I'm assertive. But that's how I grew up. You have to be a strong woman. You don't let a man walk all over you. You don't let a man tell you what to do. You don't let a man, you had to be confident and independent. And that's kind of how I was with my kids. Like my kids weren't allowed to cry. Like if you fell and skinned your knee and you came to me and you cried and there wasn't enough blood, I'm cursing you out for crying. Like what you crying for? Like did it really hurt? Like did it really hurt that bad? Did it really? Like
See,
Poor babies.
I'm like, do you need to go to the hospital? Like, are you dying? Are you dying? Do you need to go?
Unless you're hemorrhaging or have a limb completely off your body, you don't go to the hospital.
No. That's why I say that, because I'm like, you gotta cut. Like you're a kid, it's gonna happen, or you're bleeding a tiny bit, or you have a bruise, or whatever. Like I'm the same way as you, Chrissy. I'm like, but are you dying though? No.
But did you die?
But did you die? But did you die?
You're still here. You're surviving. You're living. Let's go.
Yep.
Go.
So what about you, Montana? What do you think about the whole double standard thing?
Oh, I think it's strong. It has nothing to do with cutting the lawn or anything else. It has to do with when it's our turns, and I say our as in women, from my perspective, when it's our turn to have a feeling about something, it gets shut down. Oh no, you're wrong. No, you're just being stupid, and your opinion doesn't count. But I'm supposed to worship you like you're a king and you're a god all the time because you I took the garbage out, or I did a chore. So I mean, that part of it really irritates me, because if you want a queen, you need to be a king.
Right, and you pay somebody to do it.
You can't expect respect if you don't give respect. Is
right?
And they think that we're all gonna bow down and we just owe them something.
Yeah.
I'm working off emotion right now, so don't.
It's okay. No, it's okay.
Let it out.
I want to speak on behalf of the men, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but I do think, right, like we were all speaking earlier, I think that we call men who cry or show their emotions weak. So a lot of men bottle that up and don't share their emotions, and that's where we have a double standard with them.
Mhm.
I think that we have men who are very romantic and loving and put their women on a pedestal. We call them pussy whipped,
Mhm.
Yep.
and we throw a double standard there for them as well. Like a woman can cool on her man, but if a man cools on his woman in any kind of way, he's pussy whipped and she got you, like you, or if the man's like very respectful of his wife's wishes and I can't do that. No, I can't go to the strip club. My wife doesn't. You're pussy. Oh, you letting your woman run the whole relationship or the marriage or anything like that.
Like the pants in the family. That's what they say. Like,
Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
nothing. Like, yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
or if men go for manicures and pedicures, that's demasculating. Like how
Right.
you do that, like
I think
kind
it's
of thing.
great.
I do. Like I don't want them nasty. I don't want your cuticles poking me in places they shouldn't.
And I'm not
You know
going to do
what
it,
I'm
so you do it.
Hey, but I think we talked about this on the other
We
podcast
did.
because
Yeah, we kind of,
I
but
would
that was
love to
about
give
the
my
self
man,
care.
but I was like, I would love to give my man a pedicure and a manicure. Like, I have no problem with that, and I think it's very, I think it's very therapeutic for me and for him, and just like it's like playful. Like you could massage his feet and give him a little pedicure, and I think that's like a romantic kind of bonding time that you guys, can have together. I mean, but also going to the salon and doing it together is also great too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
So we have a
maybe
couple of comments.
someone keep his feet,
Right. Yeah.
Montana.
No feet, no feet. We have a couple of comments. TJ Spitter says, I cut the lawn, weed whack, take out the garbage, lift all the heavy things. We can't compare what I can do versus what my wife can do. I feel we have a very pretty good balance. Then John says, humans cry. You're absolutely right. But we feel like for men, it's demasculating and we put that
Mhm.
kind of unfortunate, stigma on it.
Pressure. Mhm.
Yeah, and it's not. Baby, cry. Cry for me, baby. I'm just going to love you more.
Mhm.
In fact,
Aw.
all animals cry. You're absolutely right. My dog was just whimpering because of the damn thunder ring.
Yes, me too.
I cry a lot. I call bullshit on this one. But
Yeah, really.
He's like, what?
he's been called Pussy Whip since '04.
Huh?
Let me tell you something about our chores, though, real quick, since he brought it up. Um, I made a list,
Get him.
and it was every chore that needs to be done in the entire house. And I sat down with my husband and my kids, and we all said, I like that one. I like that one. I like that one. I'm good at that one. And that's how we assigned him. And he ended up with those because that's what he wanted. And because he does not know how to clean a toilet right.
It drives me nuts.
Hey, that is a very, very good idea, and I love it.
Mhm.
And that's, I think, being able to choose your own chores and like know what you're good at, like you're more. No, we're not shaming you, not at all. But
Shaming has one M.
Now she's shaming you. He's like, I'm out of here. I'm out of here. Our numbers just went down by 1.
No, we're not. But you spelled it wrong.
He's right.
he's like, oh, just wait till later.
So how do we all feel about this subject? You think we've kind of ran through it? We're good to go on to the next one?
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
so.
we feel good.
Did we all say everything that we wanted to say?
Did we all get it out? Did you get it out?
I got it out.
Did you get it out?
Good.
Just wanted to make sure we all got it out. Our next one, is it okay for a woman to approach a man romantically, or does that make her too aggressive? And Montana, I'm going to go to you because you were talking on that a little bit just
Oh
last
gosh,
segment.
that's what I listen. I had just woken up. I just woke up. I didn't even mean to fall asleep, and I fell asleep at like 7:00, and I woke up like, oh my god, I forgot. So that's one of the first topics that I read. I think that when a woman approaches a man, it comes off a very different way, and they almost don't know how to handle it. But I don't think there's anything wrong with a woman saying like, hey, you in particular, I appreciate everything you have going on here. I'm not trying to be weird. This isn't a Reiki vibe, but good for you, man. That's it. Is it aggressive? Probably.
No, Tyrone, do you think it's aggressive or it's not aggressive? Or you're down with it, Tyrone? Like, just come check me, like, holla at me. Like, you good with that?
Hi, Tyrone. Thank you for commenting.
I think it's fine for either parties, and if a guy comes and says it to me, depending on like what he's doing, it's like it's not like a bite in slide in. Oh, that's a good one. That rhymed too. You know, like when he's not like creeping behind me, smelling my hair. Then okay, thank you. Have a great day. Move on. Then yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't think it's, in my opinion, I don't think it's aggressive. Is that too aggressive?
Michael says he actually thinks it's attractive. Shoot your shot.
Yeah.
Great.
And then Alice says depends on the guy. Some guys like aggressive.
Some are scared of it.
But is it really aggressive? Or just assertive? I hate the word aggressive. Can you tell? I am aggressively saying I hate
You're
the word
aggressively saying it. So yes.
Yes.
I think if you want to appreciate a man, or it doesn't even have to lead to anything. You can just be like, oh, like that outfit, your whole thing, like whole getup, it looks amazing on you, or whatever. Like you're really like rocking that, or you're rocking those shoes, or your haircut, or I saw a guy with like some curly ass hair that looked so soft that I was like, ooh, your hair looks great on you. Like, can I touch it? Like,
yes.
Is that creepy? I don't know, but
maybe for us, maybe that's the double standard. Maybe we're the predators here.
But listen,
I know I am. I go after what I want, and depending on what vibe I'm reading is how the words are going to come out of my mouth.
So normally I'm not very aggressive when it comes to going out and meeting people, because a lot of guys just come to me automatically, and which is fine, because usually I go out with my girls and I'm like I'm just in that mindset of just being with my girls, hanging out, having fun. And then guys approach me, most of the time. But there has been a couple instances where, one time I think it was in California, probably last year, but I noticed a guy that was looking at me. He kept looking at me, but I could tell that he was too scared to come up to talk to me, or too shy. And we were playing darts right next to each other at a bar. He was with his friend, I was with my girl, and I could tell he was trying to get next to me, but trying not, that kind of thing. So I just turned around and was like, I just have to tell you real quick that you are so sexy to me. And he's like, really? Because I think you're really sexy too. And then it just took him home that night.
And that was that.
And that was a wrap.
So, Mr. Ricky, how would being romantic be aggressive? I think it's the manner and the approach, right? The how you approach it is where it would be aggressive or not. Some men like for women to play their role and for them to play their role, so they will like to be the chaser versus being chased. I just know that for a fact. I've actually been told, so I'm on the dating scene, and I've actually been told by my ex, my son's father, because I will, if I find you attractive and I have no hindrance on my ability to go up to you and start a conversation, and I don't give two shits whether I think you like me or not. I'm just going to go. I'm going to talk to you. I'm going to fill it out. And if I get your number, I get your number. If I did it, hey, I still had a great conversation. It doesn't bother me. I will go on. Right. And move on. But my ex, actually, him and I are really good friends. And he actually told me, Christina, I need you to stop doing that. If you want to find a man, you need to stop doing that.
Stop being
Stop being assertive and let the man be the man and let the man let him approach you. You need to stop approaching them. That's the advice I was given. I don't know, right or wrong.
I think that's
Yeah,
back in like the older days, like the 80s, 90s, whatever. I think more now women are more, assertive with things that they want, and they're more vocal. And with the whole, feminist movement, they're like, well, why can't we do the same thing as men, And like, why can't we go pick up a guy from a bar? Or like, why do we have to sit there and look all lonely for a guy to approach us and be like, oh, you like me? Like, why can't we just go out and be like, I want you
Yeah,
to come
you.
with me tonight, and
I'll pick that one.
Yeah, not you move. That one behind.
No, not you. The other guy.
Well, I'm actually looking at your friend over there because I want him.
Oh, and not intimate, but intimidate. I guess I do see how it could intimidate. But Steffi says, I was the one who pursued my fiance. He wouldn't say I was aggressive, though, just very persistent.
Very persistent. I like
I
that.
want to go back to Alan's comment. It's a sign of the times when we. Well, how many songs do you want to quote? When we were all young, it was always the guy approaching. Nowadays, some women make the approach, but that doesn't make her aggressive. It makes her interesting. I appreciate that, Alan. Y'all do stop fronting. Y'all do what? We do what?
What are we doing?
Can't wait.
What are we frying on? Like, see you. I will come see you. Whether I take you or not, that's up to you.
So Michael says I would be flattered. Huge ego boost.
Yeah, see? I mean, they like it.
It is. When a woman approaches a man, they're like, oh, like they're so caught off guard, and they're like, their mind is like blown because it probably it doesn't happen that much, because women are always like,
right,
are always approached, and a lot of men don't approach women because they don't want to be shut down.
Rejection. Rejection.
They're afraid of rejection. And I think with women are the same way.
Yeah, we don't like that either. So oh wow.
No, we don't like rejection either, but we when you get some tequila in you or whatever, you're gonna be like, I know what I want.
Whatever.
See, I guess my perspective is different because I just approach. Like I don't. So for me, for a woman not to do it is actually more confusing to me than a woman doing it. Like I'm telling you, I walk down the street and I'd be like, damn, like I know you hear this all the time, but you have gorgeous eyes. Like you really, really do. And let me tell you, I'm a big.
You sound like a dude right now. You sound like a dude.
Listen, but
I'm Biden sliding.
She's like, I know you don't hear this. I know you hear this a lot. That's exactly how we start the conversation.
But I'm a huge flirt, and it's just by nature. Like I could be at a restaurant somewhere, and my waiter just I could be on a date, and my waiter's attractive, and I'm just like, you are very handsome. And I'm not trying to pick. I just love giving compliments.
Yeah.
Like I just love making people smile. I just love I had dated a guy once who was that way too, and you know what? It actually never bothered me because I was exactly the same way. So I knew that it wasn't him really trying to hit on them. It was just his personality. He was very charismatic. Like he could walk in a room and light up a room. It kind of was his personality. And I guess what Black is saying, that my forehead can light up a room too, shining the right light on it, right? I hate
and
you.
Mine too.
Mine's shiny. I have a sunburn. Is he shaming us right now?
We're five-head.
Who is he talking to?
Me, because my forehead is huge. I call it a 5 head. I never call because 5 fingers fit on it.
It's a 5 head. Yes.
Mine does too.
I
You know
saw
what?
that.
Who
All
cares?
5 years.
No,
We
so
got more intelligence up here. That's exactly why we got bigger foreheads. We are more intelligent
Exactly.
than most.
I need more room for the brain.
Exactly.
I do that weird shit with women too, though. Like if I see a chick
Yes.
that I go in Panera, I was in there the other day, and this chick was smoking. She was big. She was so gorgeous, and I go, "You are very attractive." And Ben looks at me like, what are you doing? You trying to bring her home? Like, no, I'm just telling her that she's really attractive.
And it's okay. Like I don't understand why it's not okay for women to compliment other women without having a hidden agenda,
Right.
or vice versa with men too. It's
You're
like,
not
oh,
trying to.
giving a man a compliment, that means you're gay, or another,
Right.
doing all that.
So that's our double standard
Ah!
because we say,
He said, "No, my earth." He just dropped that Toys R Us.
I don't want to go to Toys R Us. I want to go to the sex shop. Like, take me there. That's where I'm going
He
to
took, by the way, if anybody's wondering, on our podcast, Black spoke about taking his date to Toys R Us.
Yes.
So that's why we're digging on him about Toys R Us.
You have to watch last night's podcast. So don't forget to check that out. Go to Clockwatch, check it out. Go to YouTube, check it out. Last night's podcast was a great one. You should definitely look at that one. So, and then you'll know like all the little side,
Jokes that we're making here.
exactly. And then
You
you'll be
want to
like,
read David?
oh, okay. So David says, I've had women ask out lots of times and I love it. Nothing wrong with it. See?
Yeah.
Great.
Okay,
And I think
I'm going to play the opposite side.
Okay.
okay.
And maybe it's because it is a sign of the times, and I haven't dated in a long time. But if you tell a guy that you like him, and he doesn't like you, he's still not going to turn you down in a lot of cases. So he's just going to be like, take advantage of your feelings. So I think girls should be able to ask guys out, but I don't know. I don't know if Alan.
he is a mess.
I don't know if it always
Watch
works out the way it should. That's the side I'm gonna take. That you
I get
should
what
be
you're
able to, but they might take advantage of it. If they're not putting in I guess you could follow up with the effort after the initial ask out, but I don't know.
But I feel like a guy, no matter what, if he's gonna do that, he's gonna do that. So, like, you know what I mean? Like, so even if he approached you, if that's who he is, that's who he is. And maybe by the woman approaching it, so I'll play the devil's advocate, so you're devil's advocate.
Okay.
Maybe approaching the man got him thinking, has him thinking, well, shit, that's different. I've never had that before. Let me stick around a little bit longer because I'm pretty interested in finding out what comes out of this. So I say shoot your shot, man. Listen.
Or they could be like, yo, this girl likes me. I'm going to see what I can get out of this.
But see that, okay, that, if I did that in my early 20s or whatever, and you go up to like a group of guys that are like, you're out with your girls, you go up to a group of guys, you single out one guy, you talk to him, be like, like, you are so sexy to me, and you do that, and then as soon as like you get a number or whatever, all his boys are like, oh, she wants your D, she's for that, and then they start talking shit about you, like, oh, she's a slut, she's a whore, blah blah blah, like she just wants.
That goes back to the double standard.
Exactly.
That men could be fluid sexually, but women cannot.
Because
we're not allowed to have sexual progression.
Right, exactly. And back then it was like you can't do that unless you are gonna be perceived in that way, like in a sexual, like oh, she's a hoe because she went and approached you in a group of guys, and then all the guys and the fellas would be like, and then of course the guy that you approach doesn't want to be seen as like
a sucker.
Right, exactly. And then he's gonna start talking shit too, and it's just, I think as you get older, it's more acceptable for women to approach men. But when
Yeah.
you're younger, it's like it was
You're
so
a whore,
hard when I was younger and I was dating.
But it's also what we're taught in the house, right? Like I was taught to be a strong woman and go
Right.
after what you want and don't take no for an answer and kiss the 5-year-old in the backyard while his two brothers hold him down. But I digress. So again, watch our podcast from last night and last Monday, and you'll know what I'm talking about. We keep this going, so you got to keep watching. You got to keep coming back. So
Yeah.
Michael Carlos says, if a dude is not going to tell you he isn't interested, you're talking to a boy, you're talking to boys, not men. But I see your point. Females can do the same. My one friend was going out with dudes 2 to 3 times a week for free food. I can't make it up. No, I know that's actually real. I know women who do it. Micah
Yep.
says, some men are still old fashioned, some are insecure, and others understand the time of the aggressive, independent woman. I told you I don't like that word aggressive.
It's not because we're not
But it's not
aggressive.
aggressive. It's like
And we're
it's
not
just
Assertive. Assertive.
we know what we want.
Look
If
at
we
that.
see something we want, we go after it. And there's
Yeah.
nothing wrong with that.
No.
There's nothing wrong with that. And if you want to call that aggressive, then go be it. But I think it's more like assertive and passionate and like
It's passionate.
right.
I like
And you
that.
just you want what you want. And women want everything that they want. So
Yes.
And guess what? We have the choice because we're
it's
women.
up to us. It is
We got vaginas.
No
But-
double standard. No double standard.
no double standard.
Facebook user, I'm going to need you to go to our Clock Watch page and the podcast that's playing, that's pinned to the announcement section. There is a link for the StreamYard terms and conditions that allow us to see who you are, because we would love to engage with you and interact, but we don't know who you are. But thank you for the comment. I think it's sexy as hell for a woman to approach a man romantically. Michael, we're just telling you use assertive, not aggressive. That's it.
He just
Yes.
goes,
Yeah.
Aggressive almost sounds rapey. Yes.
Yes.
Thank you, John.
It does.
Yeah.
Confident,
There it is.
PJ and J and Wine Chrissy. Oh, PB and J and Wine.
You better tell you what. Again, you gotta watch last night's podcast to know what PB and J and wine mean.
We
You
are
got-
simple.
Is it a snack thing? Sorry.
No,
is it-
we're simple creatures. Okay, we don't.
A date.
We are
I
just
wouldn't mind a picnic with peanut butter jelly and wine.
That's
exactly.
fantastic.
Exactly.
I lost power last night, so I didn't.
I know.
Okay, so we were talking about our like favorite or like what we prefer on dates, and she said like you don't have to be extravagant. You can just have a PB and J sandwich and wine on a picnic, and we were like, yes.
Fantastic.
They didn't believe me.
No, of course not. Of course not.
Okay. We are simple, but we are complex in the sense that it's just effort.
Yeah.
Just showing that you care. Pick me a wildflower and bring me on a picnic and show me that you put a little bit of effort in. I don't need anything extravagant.
It's the little things.
It's the little things. 100%.
Many thoughtful things that you do throughout the day, and that's what gets us like.
Aww, I love you, babe.
So my ex-husband once saw a little cake. It was a pineapple and coconut pound cake, and I love coconut. And literally, like when he handed it to me, like, oh, I saw this and I thought you would love it. Like it was like he gave me a diamond ring
Yeah.
because he took the time to acknowledge what I like. You took the time that when you were looking at something and you saw it, you instantly thought of me and knew that I would appreciate it.
Right.
That's
And
sweet.
it's those little things that makes the biggest impact on me. Small,
Absolutely.
tiny gestures because of the amount of effort you put behind it. I don't need the grand gestures. I could buy, like I said on yesterday, I could buy my own shit. I don't need your money. I got my own pocket.
Right.
But we so digressed from this topic.
Sorry, I'm just catching
But
up.
see, I love that though because we we flow into all these different things, and you know, we go out of topic. That's fine, but we're getting our point across, and we're opening up our minds to other things, and I love it.
Almond Joy.
Absolutely.
Yes.
That's my favorite too.
Almond Joy all the way.
Yep, all
Almond
day.
Joy has a creamer. I do not drink coffee at all, but
The creamer. Shut
but
up.
they have this toasted coconut. Walmart brand has this toasted coconut coffee, and then I put the Almond Joy creamer, and that is the only coffee I drink. I'm not a
Me
coffee
too.
drinker. I will drink. Mhm.
I drink coffee just for that.
Yes.
Oh, that sounds so good.
I'm obsessed with coconut too, so I hear you.
So we're gonna move on to a little more interesting topic here. Oh wait, hold on. I gotta go back to this comment before we do that. He
Yeah.
said, "Thought so. You just know me so well, Alan. Please tell your wife not to be mad. Please." We got one more. Assertive behavior is rooted in respect, while aggression is not. Thank you. That's why I hate the word aggressive. For example, voicing your opinion through aggressive acts communicates that your feelings are more important. Absolutely. Absolutely. I agree. Thank you,
Thank
Black.
you, you know, Black
Yeah.
Earth.
He actually gave us some wisdom.
Ah,
I
thank you so much on that.
So our
We
next
actually agree on something.
right? So our next topic, actually, I want to give a little story, and I'm sure some of you are familiar with this story. Some of you may not. It's about a year old, but I don't know if everybody's familiar with B. Smith. She was a model, and then she became like a home decorative guru, like a crafts guru, or a Black Martha Stewart. Hold on, before we get there, whatever.
Yeah, keep going then.
So
No.
I'm gonna aggressively move on. So, so all right, it feels like we can't go on. Assertion is a virtue.
Hey,
Hi,
Ariel.
Ariel. Thank you so much for being our first subscriber to our new IG account. Thank you so much for showing the love. Don't forget to tell your people and share it so that we can just grow and grow together as a family. So, all right, getting back to this with the whole B. Smith. So, B. Smith was a model, and then she was like a Black version of Martha Stewart. As she started getting older, she ended up with Alzheimer's, dementia, where, if anybody's familiar with it, it is degradation of the brain and your memory and things like that. So, she was married, and her husband ended up starting to date this other woman, and then moved this woman into their home because he needed other areas of his life fulfilled. And it was a whole big controversy. Unfortunately, B. Smith did pass away in February of this year, I believe. I don't know if it was last year or this year. But it was a big controversy, and he went on several talk shows to defend himself and say that he was still being a husband to his wife by providing for her, and still supporting her and making sure that she was well cared for, but that he had other needs that needed to be fulfilled. So I, as Miss Spitter being our only married woman on the podcast, I'm going to send it to her first, and then we'll go around the room. Let me know what you think about that. If you became medically ill and could no longer sexually perform for your husband, would you allow him to step outside of the marriage to take care of those needs?
Okay, I think there's like some what ifs. If it was like a physical thing, but my mind was there and I knew what he was doing, I would not be okay with that. I'd be like, we're going to have to figure something else out. There are options. There's other things you can do to have fun.
Right.
And I don't think that I could just sit around with a sound mind and be like, yeah, go screw whoever you want, And I don't think I would do it to him either. Like if some tragedy happened below the belt, like we'd figure something out. But this guy, this husband in this case, he could have put her in a home. He could have dated on the low. He could have done like a lot worse off. I mean, he took care of her. He kept her in the house. Alzheimer's
The
is
girlfriend
hard.
even took care of her. The girlfriend helped care for her as well.
Yeah. And if I was that sick and I didn't know what was going on, I wouldn't want to be in a home. I'd want to be in my home getting taken care of.
Right.
I don't know.
So you're saying depending on the situation, if it's I'm a paraplegic, fuck no, because my brain is still there. But if it's dementia, who the fuck cares? I don't know about it anyway.
Yeah, just, feed me. Make sure I don't shit myself. Whatever. Do what you can. Chrissy, your screen's gone. Do you guys see her?
What?
I do see her.
I see her.
Oh.
You see her?
I just see a black screen for Chrissy.
Blame it on a hurricane.
Yeah, no, Black, what are you doing over there that we don't know about? I'm Black. Okay. So John says, blowjobs don't do shit, so that isn't an option. Listen, I don't know who's giving you blowjobs, but it's apparently not by the right woman.
Exactly. And that's exactly what I told him when he made that comment before to me. I was like, you're just not dealing with the right woman because I don't understand because to me, all men love that shit. And like
if
that's
done right. If done right.
If done right. Yes.
Yeah. We had a whole thing about that before too. Like watch our first podcast. Episode 101. You can find it on the YouTube channel. Okay. Chrissy for the win. Listen. So I'll go and then whoever wants to take it after that. I agree with Mrs. Spitter. I actually do. I think it depends on the situation. I believe that if I could not give my husband what he needed sexually because of whatever medical ailments that I had, and it was going to be progressive and lifelong, I would give him the hall pass. I would love him that much to give him the hall pass and say, go ahead, because as long as he can continue to love me in the manner that a husband should, and not disrespect me, then I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it because that's no longer going to be a need for me at that point, right? Because I'm going to be so sick that that's not a need or a desire for me, but that shouldn't take that need or desire away from my husband. It is. So sex is so important. And anyone who doesn't think that it's nearly 75% of the relationship, and that goes along with the intimacy part of it as well. It's that important. I feel like it's that important. And yes, I will assertively give you a blowjob. No problem.
Oh boy.
So Montana looked like she was not feeling what I was saying. So I'm gonna send it to her. Sorry that you gotta follow after my blowjob.
I respectively disagree.
That's fine.
If my husband ever felt like, oh, you're so sick, we don't, blah, 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 whatever, we don't have to get into details. You don't do this anymore. Kick rocks, bro. I mean, you'll be all right. You'll make it.
So if you had some kind of sickness and you would tell him to kick rocks if he couldn't like deal with that?
I've been sick for years, and yeah, I don't care how you feel. Do you know how I feel? Yeah. I mean, I feel like I'm not doing well, and if that's your only thing, there's intimacy in so many other things, and it doesn't just come down to that. I get that it does for men, but if that's your biggest hang up.
Yeah.
But what if it's just the sex? Like you still receive that intimacy, you still receive that affection, and you still receive that love and care from your husband as a husband, but every Friday night he just steps out for 2 hours to get laid and then comes back home. Like, I kind of think I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that because you know why?
I was like, hey, no.
I'd be on. Have you seen the show on Oxygen called Snapped?
Yep.
That's how that would end up.
But I think that you're at such another level of love when you can allow that, when you could release that part of yourself for your significant other to be whole. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I think that's like just next level love. I think that's just like a whole, because you know why? I'll be honest with you. Because if it was vice versa and my husband couldn't perform anymore as a man, he damn fucking right he's letting me step out. I'm about to go assertively blowjob some of them. Women are not the same. I disagree.
No, they're not the same because obviously Montana and Chrissy do not agree on things.
Correct.
I mean, we are not the same people. So we have very different views on things, and it all depends on the circumstances too. So
no, yeah, it does.
We are not the same.
What do you think? Are you sharing the love?
Okay, so if it was me who became ill and I couldn't perform, or I mean, as long as they were doing everything that they were supposed to do and still taking care of me, I don't want to be put in a home. And I don't want to be away from my family, my kids, him. I wouldn't want to hold him back from living his life if he was okay with it. Like, I'm not going to just be like, go live your life and do your things. Like, I don't want you to, be hung up on me. It just depends on the situation. It depends on the person that you're with. And it depends on what kind of like serious illness that you have. And then if it was the other way around, of course, I mean, it would be the same way. And it depends on what other kind of intimacy things can you do, because there's way more things to being intimate than being penetrating somebody. There's cuddling and fingering and masturbating with each other, or just going down on each other. But like there's a lot of different things. So
but what if there's no more stimulation for the woman? Like, what if you're a paraplegic and there is no stimulation from the waist down?
He needs to deal with that.
Hands, right? I got my hands in my mouth, or no?
So
I
do
or I don't. I do. I don't.
Right? So now we're going to look at this from a nursing perspective. Okay, let's say the woman. So then there's no vaginal penis penetration, because if there is no sensation down there, then there is no lubrication down there, and you're pretty much screwing somebody who's dead, right? Like, I mean,
my goodness, that
there's
escalated real freaking quick.
There's no hip thrusting, there's no lubrication, there's no stimulation, there's none of that. But Jesus labor. And here's the thing. So I was having a conversation with a guy, and what he said was a hand job, a blow job, and penetration all have different sensations.
Mm-hmm.
So you want those different sensations, and to just constantly get a blow job all the time is not going to be suffice for a man. Like, I don't know about me. I can always get head all the time, and that's all you got to do. I'm good.
But I'm gonna get a water. You guys go ahead.
No, I mean, it depends. Like, I'm okay with just getting head for the rest of the time. If he can still work his mouth and his fingers and his hands, like, I'm good with that. Like, I don't need anything else. And we still have toys. Like, hello, you can bring toys into the whole situation. You can there's so many other options. Like I would not have automatically thought of I'm gonna go and like be with somebody else just because you're not capable of doing every single thing that we were doing before. You know, like I couldn't do that to somebody. You know, like for me, I just no, I would want to be there for them. I would want to take care of them and I would definitely, you know, do everything possible to keep that relationship connected and alive. And it just depends on the situation and the person and what the other person wants and what I want. But first off, no, I would not stray away. I would not ask.
I don't think it's an immediate thing. I think it's something that progressively.
Yeah, I think it's like gradually as the person gets sicker and sicker, maybe if that conversation came up. But first off, no, definitely not. I could not see myself doing that. So and
Listen,
also
I was in a sexless marriage.
yeah,
So
you know
I
exactly.
know what it is to, you know, and there was no he was not a paraplegic. He was not disabled. He was not. So I get it. Like I get what it is to have those needs and desires and they're not fulfilled. You're very optimistic, E.
I am. Yes. I am. Yes.
It's a good quality.
I don't think that's a bad thing. I think that's a very good thing.
It's a good quality, yes.
Yeah, and I love that about myself because I want to make sure the person that I'm with, I would do everything for that person. So when I love hard, and when I am not interested, I will be mean as fuck to you. So
absolutely.
If you lose the lid in my mouth, it's
he's not right. He's not right.
E, you want to get this one?
Frankie says, no, it's not going down like that. There are many ways to perform sex. I personally love sex to give it up. And if it don't work, I'm getting a pump. Okay.
A pump of what?
So
it's a toy.
What is a pump?
There are very, very many sex toys for men. And sex
pump?
It's not just about women in sex shops. There's many dildos and vibrators and all this stuff. But there's also a lot of toys for men.
Yeah, I know about fleshlights and shit, but
oh no, they've got a whole bunch. Like I can show you later.
They got
But
they got pocket pussy. I bought a pocket pussy for my husband actually as like a gift because I was like, well, I mean, I have a dildo. Like, why can't you have something too? So just in case like I'm not around or whatever the case may be, maybe you want something new or different. I'd rather you have a toy than go out of the relationship and do something else because it just felt different or whatever. You know, I'd rather use a toy than go sleep with some other girl.
So there's I don't know. Okay, this is a different conversation. This is a private conversation. I don't know about these pump things. My face is beat red. I'm so uncomfortable right now.
So Stephanie says she would sacrifice sex in order to stay loyal to her significant other.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes, because you can always just do it yourself. Like, do it yourself.
Yes.
It wasn't molded replica.
He's gonna hit you up for
Actually, they have a kit at sex shops.
I saw.
You can actually mold your man's penis to form, and you can use it.
No, it's a real thing.
Yes,
it's a real thing.
You
Yes.
can do that. So, And then he can use it if he's still using his arms. If he's a paraplegic, he can still use his arms. He can use that same thing.
That's a fantastic alternative.
Okay, but if
Exactly.
I don't listen. I don't know. I guess I'm just a whole different beast on this. Like I feel like I'm okay with him stepping out if I can't, and he better be
I'd
okay
murder
with me
him.
stepping out if I can't.
I'm on record now.
I
I'm
mean, because I
officially on
feel like
record saying I would murder him.
yes, we hear it. Allegedly, she would kill him.
Allegedly.
Allegedly, she would kill him. Allegedly, but I don't know. Like I feel like you can separate sex from love. Do you think you can separate sex from love?
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
There's no correlation.
Right? That's why they have prostitutes, right?
Exactly. There's no correlation whatsoever.
Montana, everybody's dead. Yo, E, you into something different kind of shit.
I'm not right in the head. If you guys are not, you would have said it.
Ah!
I love that we're all different on this topic. This is fantastic.
Yeah, no,
This is what I thrive on.
Yes, where we all have different, but you know what? We're all respectful about our different ideas, and I guess that's why you find the partner that's gonna best suit you, right?
Right.
Like you're gonna, if you, I don't know, maybe I'm just jaded at this point in my life that, with everything that I've been through, that I'm like, fuck it. Go ahead. You're gonna do it anyway, whether I'm a paraplegic or not.
I'm right there with I'm right there with you, Christy, because I've also been through a lot of shit where I'm just like when I get to that point, maybe I won't give a fuck. Like maybe if it happens now, I probably would give a fuck. But later on in my life, like it depends on how long we've been together or whatever. But I would probably be like, I have Alzheimer's. I don't know what you're doing. Like it could be anything that you were doing. You come tell me something. Like who knows? Like my grandma had Alzheimer's, and that's what she died from. So I mean, my grandpa stuck by her from day one, and she went through it for 7 years. And I'm sure he never ever strayed away, And
I think that's the time, the generation.
Yes, but yes, that's also a whole different generation. They've been together since they were like in high school, and they're like 70, 80 something. So it's like completely different than now. Now it's like, oh, fuck you. You guys sick? Get out of here. I'm going to go find me another one,
Right.
We have a question for you, lady. We have a question for you, Lady E. I'm trying to find out if it was a replica, though, and if it wasn't, did you get jealous?
A replica of the dick?
No, I remember you brought him a pocket pussy. So you wanted to know if it was a replica, and if it wasn't, did you get jealous when he enjoyed it?
Nope. Obviously, it was not a replica because my pussy is not like any other silicone pussy that you're gonna find in the store. Obviously, mine's way better. Duh. But anyways, no, I did not get jealous because I was also going through a lot of health issues at the time, and I could not always perform the way that I did like when we first got married. It was in my marriage. So when I was going through those health issues, I had no problem with him using that pocket pussy or whatever he wanted to use. Like I would not have accepted him going out of the marriage to have sex. No, that's not an option because obviously I'm still here. All my hands, my mouth, everything else all still works. So that was not even an option. But if he wanted certain things, like I'll buy you toys. I'll do certain things for you. I'll change it up a little bit. I mean, I think it keeps it spicy in a relationship, and I'm all for that. Like, no problems at all.
Okay, just for the record, Annie, we've been married. I've been married for 13 years.
So I've been married twice, divorced twice.
I was married once, divorced, and that's it.
2 times.
You've been married 2 times and you're still married.
Yes.
Yes.
We still married to her second. Yep. Hold on. This is the whole plot for the Notebook. No,
Oh my gosh.
it actually isn't. But yes, she ended up having Alzheimer's at the end. Alzheimer's, I think I have early signs because I don't think my wife and I do anything. Just say, yeah, babe, we did it Saturday, remember?
Yeah.
I think you guys
Constantly.
should take a special vacation somewhere. Yeah, I have a travel agent I can hook you up with. If
Okay.
my partner was sick or ill, sex is secondary.
Thank you.
It is. It's
And
very.
and Frankie
Thank
means it.
you.
I know Frankie personally. He definitely
So
means that. He
Frankie, he won. Thank you.
Because
I 110% agree with that.
that's all you're thinking about, though, is like
That's
wanting them to be better and trying
right.
to make them better, or trying to heal them and doing everything you can possible to try to make their lives easier. Like sex is like not even. That's
I
just like
guess I just been without sex for too damn long. That is not the last thing on my damn mind.
that's like
Get out of here.
I mean, use this as an example, okay? When you first have a child, okay, everybody on here has had a child, right? When you first have a child, how long do you have to wait till you have sex?
6 weeks.
Exactly.
And that's
So-
why my sister had my
Supposed to.
niece in February of 94 and had a twin in December of 94.
You're
Do the math.
supposed to wait 6
You're
weeks.
Do the math.
6 weeks.
You're
Okay.
supposed to. That's too damn long. So we have a question.
People, yes, but other people, it's like when I had kids, or not even like, yes, of course I wanted to have sex like right away. Sometimes, not when you're like first had it and you're like, okay, all this blood and shit's coming out and you're bloated and all that shit. Nobody wants to have sex then.
Were you natural?
But the minute, yeah, I did natural. Two
Okay.
natural. But it's
Me
like,
too.
yes, it's not
I have
easy.
sections.
Okay, sections. Team section.
But
Keep going, keep going.
It's like, how are you, like, even the guys then, like, was not willing to wait even 6 weeks. It wasn't even about what the
gosh.
woman felt. It was like 6
No.
weeks. Like, all
I
you
guess I need sex therapy then because I need Sex Anonymous or some shit then. Because I'm like, fuck out of here. Like, give me it.
Dude, I have
Christina, you're gonna get all the
bandages.
friend requests tonight.
I
you
have
can't wait
bandages.
6 weeks. Like, you can't wait for the rest of my life to
No,
end.
I can't
Right.
wait 24 hours. What are you talking about 6 weeks?
I have
Is that-
bandages and shit all over me. And he's like, I don't give a shit. We're doing it. We're doing it right now. And it was like, I just got home. It's been like 48 hours since I got cut
my
open.
God.
But
So I have a quick story. Let me read the question that I have. So it says, okay, so is that why y'all don't care at this point and y'all are so forward, C&E? I don't think I ever cared. Like I always been forward. Like I've just always been forward, period.
I have always been forward too. And it's not that we don't care. It's that we're passionate about how we feel and what we think. You can correct me if I'm wrong, Chrissy, but this is how we feel, and I think that our voices should be heard and what we want. So that's why we are like, it's not that we don't care. We want things a certain way, and we expect things a certain way.
Mm-hmm. So I have my little story, right? I agree with you, Lady E, all the way. So I was pregnant with my second one, and I mean, I was ready. I was past due my due date, and me and my son's father, was doing our thing, and then all of a sudden I started getting the cramps, and then I thought my water broke, but I wasn't sure. So I get to the emergency room so I could, get everything checked out and everything. And the doctor says to me, my obstetrician says to me, well, did your water break? And I said, well, I don't know. And she was like, well, why don't you know? And I said, well, I just finished having sex, so I don't know if it's my water or if he's coming out of me. She was like, girl, high five. That's how you do it. I was like,
Because
I'm
doctors,
telling you, right up to delivery. Right up to delivery.
but doctors tell you to have sex to induce labor.
Yeah.
So you're like, I don't know if I'm just, it's all coming out or.
Yeah, I don't know what it was. I was
Listen,
like,
I don't know what you're getting
now.
into, man. Okay, I don't know what you're gonna see about it.
I was like, I don't know, but she gave me a high five. She straight up gave me a high five, like, girl, that's how you do it. Like,
It's fantastic.
So I guess it's also at whatever your sexual drive is, right? So if you're someone who doesn't have a high sex drive, then your mind isn't going to be on that intimacy. But if it's like super high, like I'm in my 40s and they weren't lying about women being at their sexual peak at 40. So like I'm there. Talk to me in another 20 years when I'm over it.
I'm over it.
It's crazy because I thought that like I had no sex drive because of like a relationship that I was in. I didn't feel like I wanted like like that was like the last thing on my mind. And then as soon as I was out of the relationship, it was like a light switch, like bing, nope, it's not. And I was like, oh yes, thank God it's coming back. And it just depends on the person that you're with and all that stuff. Even if you're single, it's definitely way different than your relationship. And I think that it's very important in a relationship to keep things spicy and to keep things like flowing and going, because that once you're at that point for a woman and you don't feel like some type of like sex drive at all towards the man that you're with, like that's a problem for me. I think that's a problem.
They have to strike a nerve in your brain. They have to have some sort of access to strike that in us.
Yeah.
And
I
then
don't know. You don't have to touch my brain anymore at this point.
You're on a different level. You're a different level.
Yeah. I want to read this comment, but I kind of want to go into a little bit of what Lady E was talking about. So Eddie says, so what's really worse, a sexless marriage was a person that's capable or forever yearning for sex from a person that suddenly became incapable and you had sex with all the time. So I'm going to say a sexless marriage only because I've experienced that. Only because, yes, I am over 40.
Because she looks like she's like 30.
Yeah, like 25.
No, like
I always get it. I turned 42 on the 21st of July. So I just made 42.
I cannot believe it.
Panel needs to rate their sex drive at your current age from 1 to 10, 10 being the highest. So I am 42 and it's at 25.
I am at 34 and it's probably at 15, 20, something like that.
Montana's like, fuck this shit. I ain't doing it.
No, I'm 34. I'm going to go with a solid 0.
Oh my gosh.
I'm sick. Guys, you know how sick I am?
Yeah, that's how she feels.
Don't listen to me. I don't feel well. But prior to this, I was I was a good 9. 9?
Okay.
8? What was I want to hear Jackie's comment, but Jackie's over here. What is that comment though about Montana getting trapped in a sex shop? What was that?
Oh,
that just flew by.
We'll go back up to Michael Carlos. Hold on.
Okay. I want to hear no.
So first day from Montana is trapped in a sex shop.
That sounds like an escape room kind of thing. I'm good. I'm all set. Thank you.
we can skip Miss Spitter because I don't want Mr. Spitter to come kick my ass. So she does not have to answer that question.
That's that. Okay.
I'm just gonna say it really depends on the day. I've had unlimited access to sex for many years. I'm not stressing it. Sometimes I am. Sometimes I don't care. Sometimes my husband's romantic. Sometimes he's an asshole. You know what I mean? Like, it all depends.
I don't know. I think the best sex is angry sex, right? So like,
That's a great topic too.
if I'm pissed off at you, and like that's all I want, like just you. I don't know. I feel like there's a whole different vibe and energy, and like you're a little more aggressive, and the nails are digging in a little deeper, and you know. Lady E, where'd you go? You don't agree?
No, don't. No. I'm listening. I just have to take a potty break.
Wow.
Oh my God. Oh, Eddie. Thank you, Eddie. Okay, because that is exactly.
That is not. But I wanted to go off of what you were saying, right? Because we have a little more time, so we can kind of delve into before we go into our last topic. We can kind of let this like stretch a little more. You made a comment about sexual.
I'm listening. I just have to take a bathroom break, but I am listening. So,
okay, all right. So, the sexual creativity. She was saying about spicing it up, right? Having to spice it up sometimes. And I guess with having someone who is ill and couldn't perform sexually, there would have to be maybe something that you can do other. I think there are a lot of different things you can do before you veer off to a whole nother relationship sexually with another person. There are things that you can experiment with. And then we had to talk about the sex toy shop and corporate Toys R Us and all that good stuff. So, where are we on a level of comfortability with exploring different things? Is it, I like, I know, like, I'm very, I explore, I'm very open to new ideas and different things, but I guess we can go to the scale of the 1 to 10. On a scale of 1 to 10, where do you think you're at with bringing these different ideas into the bedroom to kind of spice it up? And I'll let whoever go first.
All right. I don't think that I'm real high on the scale. I'm gonna say like halfway, like a 5. Like, I'm okay with trying something, but I'm not like, oh my God, I need more crazy stuff. Ugh. Like, I'm just not. I'm really more emotional about sex. Like,
100%.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really
That's
more like
it's a bond.
Listen,
but
wait till y'all hit 40.
I'm only a year away, so
trust me, everything changes in a year. You wake up from 39 turning to 40 and shit starts cracking that never cracked before. Okay, like that first morning you're 40. I'm telling you, absolutely. We're gonna go to a comment real quick and then we could go to you, Montana. Our relationships have natural decline after the romance period of approximately 2 years. After that, relationships and intimacy take nurturing and cultivating. So, Robert, tell me, yeah, absolutely great. So, Robert, tell me, what your thing of what your ideas of creativity is, and where does the idea from? What? Where does the idea come from? Is the question.
like ideas in the bedroom, I guess.
I guess.
It comes from boredom. I think it comes from boredom. Because if you're not satisfied, you start looking at other options. If you're satisfied, you're good. There's no need to explore and do anything else.
Then I guess I need a not sex anonymous.
I think you might.
But to that comment, I don't believe it declines. I think it goes up and down, but I don't think it's a decline after 2 years. Yeah.
2 years.
If you hang on after a decline, it's gonna go back up.
Yeah,
okay.
it's gonna
ebbs and flows
throughout the whole relationship, and it doesn't matter like how long you guys been together. Of course, life is going to happen. Life is going to take over. Like you get wrapped up in your job, kids, if you have kids, you know, a lot of factors go into, you know, just like not being able to have sex as much as you want. I mean, there is also very, very many other creative ways that you can, you know, go about, you know, I have kids, I have young kids, and it's very hard to date or be with somebody and my kids are like constantly around me, like they sleep with me in my bed. But also it's like you have to find creative ways to go around that. Like there's other rooms in the house. If you have a balcony, a porch, a patio, a truck, or a car, or let's let's say you live in an apartment, there's a laundry room. Hello, go in there, or whatever the case. Like, yeah, you can go anywhere. You can wake up in the middle of the night, have a little quickie, go back to bed while the kids are asleep. I mean, there's a lot of different options to keep it spicy and keep it creative, and you just you have to find those things to keep the relationship going and to keep it interesting and be connected with the two, because a lot of relationships fail because of you just
A
get
lack of right.
yeah.
Right. You
Chemistry,
fall into the
lack of
lull.
intimacy. Yeah.
Right. Like it's kind of the same thing over and over again. Not with me though, but so right.
Okay. No, I'm gonna interrupt you real quick.
Go ahead, girl.
Okay. This 50 Shades thing, okay, it infuriates me on so many levels. Let me tell you why. First off, I have to have, if I have a problem with something, I have to read the book first, and then I have an opinion. Because you can't read something and then say, oh, you can't go, oh, I don't like that movie or whatever. Like read it and then have an opinion. So I read all the books.
Okay.
It's bullshit, and I hate it. It's so Hollywood. It's so not how that works, and it's not what women want. Like it's not at all how we operate. We just like because it's basically the guy who was a abused man, and he showed this woman like all the
He was a submissive.
it's garbage.
Right. He was a submissive that turned into a dominant.
He was
'Cause he was
submissive, turned into a dominant,
He was a submissive turned into a dominant. Mm-hmm.
and then he realized that he wanted an equal. But it's not realistic. Guys don't do that. If you're dominant, you're dominant, period. And that doesn't change. You can't change a man. And I wouldn't want to change somebody. I would say, okay, you're dominant. That's how this is you.
So you don't think a man can go from dominant to submissive depending on the woman he's with?
No.
And girl, let me tell you. Right? Girl, let me tell you.
Here we go. Let's hear it.
You can definitely, I have been with dominant men, but because I'm dominant, have in turn, they have allowed me to let them become the submissive.
You can't talk about you can't give that away. Of course. You can't broadcast this shit on TV and make us think we're watching a romantic film. It's not. I hated it. I hate the way it was written. I hate the whole. The person who wrote it was an 80-year-old like British woman who she was using email. Okay, I'm not going to get into it. It's a whole thing. I have a problem with everything about that. Okay, there's comments. Go ahead.
Somebody needs to help ego.
Why was it the best-selling book then?
Because desperate housewives are bored. They're just bored.
Breathe, Chrissy. I was just being a goof. I never read.
Oh my God.
I don't read. Right. No, what are you saying negative to? Negative what? I don't know what you were saying negative to.
Negative.
I don't know what he was saying negative to. But yeah, so I mean, listen, you guys learned way more about me tonight than you ever needed to know. So
Same.
I please do not DM me any eggplant pics, please. I don't want them. I'm not that desperate. Like being sexually progressive and knowing your sexual desires does not equate to wanting everybody in your inbox. All right.
Correct.
Okay. All right. It does not. But I think we can. Yes. I think we can go ahead and move on to the next one. So our next one is a little bit touchy.
It's touchy.
It's very controversial, and I'm gonna take this last. So who wants to go?
I'm not going first.
So,
Jackie,
okay.
or
Well,
Lady
I
E?
mean, this was my topic. This is what I wanted to talk about. So I think I should take it first. Abortions. Is it only the woman's decision to make? So, actually, I'm going to tell you guys a little story. I got pregnant with my son, and his father told me, I was considering adoption just because of, or not adoption, sorry, abortion. I was considering abortion just because of his and I relationship towards each other. I'm going to be like completely open and honest with you guys tonight. Um, we were together for probably, I don't even know, 6 months to a year. Was not even that long. It happened. He actually told me that he could not have kids, and which was a complete lie, obviously. And um, I had actually 4 miscarriages before I met him. So for me, I was like, okay, well, this is unexpected, and it was unexpected for him too, obviously, because he couldn't have kids. But I was considering it just because of the fact that I kind of knew that him and I were not going to last through the whole um, throughout her relationship, and we fought a lot, we argued a lot, we were just in different spaces in our lives, and it came down to the point where it was like I had to decide. I was like, well, is it my choice? Is it my choice to have an abortion, or is it both of our choices? And so he doesn't have any kids, and I've already had a daughter at this point. And I knew that he probably wasn't going to be involved in the child's life. And I knew that from the get-go because of our relationship together. And I just thought, like, I should really consider this as an option. Like, I'm totally against it, but it just depends on the situation. It's like, yes, if you're raped or whatever, yes, I totally agree. Pretty sure women do not want any part of that situation if they are raped, if they're become pregnant after the rape. I'm totally for getting an abortion for that. I believe in pro-choice, but for my situation, I asked him. And I was like, "What do you feel? How do you feel about me getting an abortion?" And he told me, "It's up to you. It's your decision. It's up to you." And I read about it. I went online. I Googled a lot of stuff. I researched a lot of stuff. I read about the process. And for me personally, I could not go through with it. Um, and even knowing that he wasn't really going to be in his life, knowing that he wasn't mature enough to deal with that in that situation. So for me, it was basically my decision. And I feel like, is it only the woman's decision to make? And I say yes. I say yes. It is only the decision for a woman, because the woman is the one who's carrying the child. The woman is the one who is going to be taking care of the child. Um, and it doesn't matter if the guy says, like, say you guys are dating or together or whatever, you guys are not married. And who says, like, who knows for a fact that that person is going to be with you and the child for the rest of that child's life? There is no guarantee. No guarantee at all. Like, they could say, "Oh yeah, I'm going to be in the child's life for the rest of their lives," but I mean, if they're all over the place, it's like, how do you even know? You don't know. So you have to make that decision for yourself. Can I take care of this child by myself? Am I willing to take care of this child by myself? Because you have no idea what the future may bring. So for me, for my decision, I made that choice to have my child knowing for a fact that the father was not going to be in the picture. So I think that it's all up to the females. It is up for the woman to decide. But in some situations, it's completely different, because a lot of women are not ready to be a mother if they don't have kids already. And like, you can tell the father, like, yes, I'm pregnant and I want an abortion. And the father could be like, well, I don't want you to get an abortion. I want you to have the child. And if you don't want to take care of the child, then I want to take care of it. So there's like different situations where that could happen, because I have a friend who didn't know about their child, or his child that he had with another person, and the mother gave the child up for adoption. Never told the guy.
Wow.
Never told him about their child together. She didn't want the child. She gave him up for adoption, and then 26 years later, the child came looking for him, and he said, "I had no idea about you. I would have taken care of you from day one." So I mean, like, there has to be some kind of communication towards the mother and the father of the child, but also it's like, you can say one thing and do another. Like, you can say you want the child and you're like, okay, I'm gonna bring this child up. Me and you are gonna work together with this child, and even though we're not together, like, say we're not together, we can bring this child up and raise it together in separate homes. But also, it's like, when the child becomes older, are you still going to stick around? Are you still going to be here? Are you
But
still
I want to play devil's advocate to that,
okay?
because what about the man who doesn't want the child, but the woman keeps the child, and now he's in debt for child support for the next 21 years?
I mean,
So there's the other side of that too, because it's a woman's choice, but it's not a man's choice if she has the baby and has to pay child support. He doesn't get out of it and say, I didn't choose it. That was her choice. He's
that
still
also
indebted to that.
Yeah, that also happens.
And I don't think that's fair at all. I think a woman who is going to make the decision for herself needs to understand that there's going to be a consequence on the other end of whether the father wants the child or doesn't want the child, and whether you choose to keep the child or to terminate the pregnancy. I feel like it needs to be a conversation by both parties. I have my story and I am open to share it. I got pregnant with from my daughter's father the second time, and I actually had a miscarriage first, and then a couple of weeks later got pregnant again. It was like, dumbass, fucking Lord tried to tell you, but your dumbass wouldn't listen, right? So, because there I go with my sex again, right? So,
Gotta get that D.
you know, so then I got pregnant, and I had decided that I was going to terminate the pregnancy. So very early on, me and my daughter's father was at the clinic, and he's sitting there and he's begging me not to have this abortion. Please don't have it. Please don't do it. Our baby can be the next president. I promise you that I'm going to do everything that I need to do. I'm going to get us an apartment, and we're going to do this and and everything. And my silly ass listened to him, and we had that mutual discussion. An abortion wasn't something that I wanted to do, but it was something that I knew that I couldn't have another child and do it alone. And it ended up that I come home, don't have it, and I wait around a couple of weeks to see what he was going to do. And I realized very quickly that he was full of shit, and that I was going to be holding the bag with 2 kids on my own, and ended up deciding that terminating my pregnancy was the best option for me at that point in my life. It's
How'd you
something that
feel?
it haunts me to this day.
Yeah.
It haunts me to this day. I regret it. Um, I still have nightmares about it. Here we are 25 years later,
Right.
and I still have nightmares about it. It's not, you know, but I did give him that option at first for us to have a mutual agreement. But in the end, the truth came out, and it ultimately ended up becoming my own decision. So I feel like it's every situation, um, you know, it depends on the circumstances. It depends on the situation. It depends on the relationship. It depends on, was this a long-term committed relationship and you accidentally got pregnant? Was this overnight booty call shit that the dude, like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like
Yeah.
it definitely depends on the situation of the relationship.
Well, because I kind of had a similar thing as you. So I decided to keep my child, knowing knowing in the long run like he wasn't going to be a part of it. And for the first year, yes, he actually fought for custody for, we broke up like while I was still pregnant or shortly after I had my son. And we, he actually took me to court and wanted joint custody of the child, even though he was like not acting like he even wanted to be a part of this child's life. And I was like, what? Like, I had a lawyer and everything, and I'm like, look, you can have supervised visitation for my child, for my son, and my lawyer was like, look, you need to give him a lot of days to come over and visit this child. And I was like, that's fine. So he was coming over 3 days a week to visit with him. My son had no type of interaction with him. Like, didn't he wanted to be more with me than him? And then it finally, after a year of supervised visitation, I noticed, he was on his phone when he was coming over to visit my child. Um, he was like, he was not, had no connection whatsoever. And finally, and then he was making up excuses of why he couldn't come over to visit him. And then the more he did that, the more I was like, okay, I'm thinking to myself, I text him and I was like, look, why don't you just sign up for your rights? Because you're obviously not involved with this child's life, and you're not, willing to do the things that you are supposed to do as a father. And he completely signed over his rights. And now I am financially responsible for my child, my son. And I am perfectly okay with that because that is the type of decision that I had to make in the get go when I was thinking about the whole process. Like, should I abort this child or should I keep it? And I think that is solely on the woman's decision because it's like you don't know what's going to happen later on down the road. You know, like he could say, yes, I want to be a part of this child's life, but it depends on how well you know this person or how, like, what do you think is going to happen later on down the road. And I automatically already knew how it was going to be later on down the road. And the reading up on the whole abortion process, me personally, I couldn't go through with it. And for me, because I've already had, like, I had my daughter at a young age, and then I had 4 miscarriages after her. So when I got pregnant with my son, I was like, well, maybe it's not even going to happen. Maybe I'm not going to have another child, or maybe I can't have kids after this. I didn't know. I didn't know what was going to happen. So I'm like, well, I don't want to abort this child, and then what if I can't have any more kids after? I was like, I'm fully prepared to do all that I need to do to have this child, and that's exactly what I did.
So for the guys watching, we would like your input. What do you think? Do you think that as a man and being the partial donor to this embryo, do you feel that you have any decision making in it as well? And then I'm going to send it over to Mrs. Spitter while we're waiting for those comments. What do you think? Do you think it's just the woman, or do you think a man has the right to have his say in it? And let's say the woman wants to abort the babe, or terminate the pregnancy, but he wants her to keep it.
I do agree with the comment Stephanie made, that if you can agree, obviously that's the best scenario. It's a huge life decision, and if you can come to an agreement, but ultimately, of course, it's the woman's decision. Even if it's the case where, I think Lady E. Yorland said it, the man wants to raise the kid. I mean, that's still a year of your life. That's still a lot on your body. That's still a risk, It's definitely the woman's decision. And as far as, the guy wants to have the abortion and the girl wants to have the baby, and now he's stuck with child support, pregnancy is a result of sex. That's a thing that happens. He was aware of that, I think, going into it.
Yes. I'm pretty sure. But then I feel like it's a double standard because we can easily dismiss the father who wants to keep the pregnancy, but the mother who wants to terminate the pregnancy because it's going to take a year out of her life, right? I'm just playing devil's advocate here, right? So it's going to take a year out of the woman's life, but he wants to parent this child, and yeah, she has to carry the baby in the womb for the year, but then it's like, well, I'm deciding to keep the baby, and I don't give a shit that you got to pay 21 years of child support. You knew what having sex was. Can't we turn around and tell the woman, well, you knew what the result of having sex was. I want this kid. Fuck it. You're going to have to deal with a year of residency in your body. You knew what the result of sex was. Just like we tell the man for 18 years, 21 years, you knew what the result of sex was. And we're only asking the woman to hold his fetus for a year.
It is a double standard.
I'm just playing devil's advocate here.
If you made it where the man, say, legally had a say, that's a terrible slippery slope. That's just, I mean, you can't ever go there. So, morally, you should want to take their thoughts into consideration. But ultimately, it's going to be the woman's decision. And when I was a teenager, young 20s, whatever, I didn't think about it. But after my daughter, every person I slept with, I thought, this could be a baby. I'm going to sleep with somebody without the possibility of thinking there could be a baby at the end of this. It's just how it is. I don't know. Morally, it's a very tricky question.
It is. I don't think I think a man should have the right to take the woman to court and say you have to carry this fetus for the next 10 months. I think a man should have that right.
But see, that's
Yeah.
different. That's different though. So if a woman says to a man, like say you're like 3 months pregnant, whatever,
Mhm.
and she comes to the man and she's like, I want to have an abortion. And he's like, no, no, no. Like, I want this baby. Then yes, he could take her to court to have the baby for him to have. You know what I'm saying? But it's not men, most men don't do that though. Most men will not take a woman to court.
But I feel like the man should have the right to.
I
I
mean,
know people that have
they
had their
could,
girlfriend got an abortion and they were devastated about it. I've seen that happen in real life.
Yeah, so
And it's
I think the
sad.
man should have just as much rights to say, and whether they do it or don't do it, Montana, we're coming to you. Whether they do it or don't do it, I feel like it should still be. I feel like they should still have that option. But go ahead, Montana.
but like, how do you even know though? Sorry, go ahead, Montana.
No, don't interrupt me.
No. No, I'm gonna piss you off.
This is my perspective. This is my point of view. As a grown-up, if you have sex with somebody, you know the repercussions. And if it results in a pregnancy, yes, you can't have sex with a wall and get pregnant. So the man is just as responsible as the woman. So yes, he has a say. And I don't agree with the whole thing in general. I don't. I'm not like. I never would I ever like. But I'm not judging people who've ever had that done or done that and have felt in a predicament where they felt like that was necessary. I've never been there. But we know how babies are made.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we know that. We're not stupid. This isn't 1565.
Well, I was 16, but go ahead.
No, I'm saying no. Like no,
Yeah.
the year. Like, we're not like, this isn't like a new thing. We know how this is done.
Mm-hmm.
We know what happens if you
Right.
don't use stuff. So, what do you expect? And even if like in the whole rape and incest and all that shit, that's less than 1%. That's not a good argument. That is not a thing.
I don't think it's less than 1%.
It is less than 1%.
For what?
Oh, it's a whole thing. Incest and rape, it's less than 1%. And if I get raped like tonight and I got pregnant, I would absolutely keep my child.
And that's
my child.
You
Yeah.
would keep the child if you got raped.
Absolutely.
Wow.
That's my child.
I want to know why though.
It's my child.
Like, would you not see that whole thing happening every time you saw the child?
I don't think so. No, I have kids. I don't think I would see that. But if at the very most, I'd give them up for adoption.
But you would see it as like, this is what was supposed to happen in my life, and this is what I'm supposed to have.
No, I don't think it's not a religion thing. It's not a religion thing. This is based on how I feel, and it's a maternal thing. Not that you guys aren't like maternal, but it's not that.
Like Cornell said, a constant reminder. That's what I'm saying. Like, would it be a constant reminder to you every time you looked at the child? Like, this is a traumatic experience that happened to me.
I would feel so worse I would feel worse giving that kid up for adoption. I'd rather have him with me, or him, her, whatever it was. Yes, I.
So, having had an abortion, and
I don't think he should have a say. I don't think he should. I think he should have a say, but I don't think he should. Well, because it's like it's not just her body. It's not just my body.
that's
There's
what
a
I'm
new
saying.
body inside of me. There's a new body inside of me. It's their body.
Well, that's why. So you and I agree. We
It's
don't
their
disagree.
yeah. It's a new body inside of me that I'm carrying. It's not. I would absolutely. It's both him and I, and we talk about it. And if he wants to do it, I don't know if he would.
So this is a
See,
whole other discussion. We're talking pro-life versus pro-choice. I don't think so because I feel like
No.
it's still, Alan. Like not everybody believes in abortion, so everybody on this panel doesn't believe that abortion is an option, and that's okay. So we want them to speak on their end of it, and she's still speaking on the end of she doesn't feel like I think she agrees with me in the sense that it should be both decisions.
Yes.
I think it should definitely be both decisions. I feel like I get it. It's the woman's body, it's the woman's choice, but I still think that a man, if he's gonna step up to the plate and be like, I'm putting
Right.
an injunction on your uterus because that's my baby growing inside your womb. And I plan
Right.
that the minute you give birth to take this child and raise them and provide a life for them, then I should have that option. Just like you have the option of saying, I'm keeping this baby. I don't care that you don't want it. You're going to deal with it for the next 21 years. I'm only asking for you to deal with it for 1 year and then you could be on your way.
Yeah. Bye.
So if a man gets this injunction and he forces her to have the baby, she's not going to have to pay support. She's not going to have to do all that same stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not just the year. She's going to still have a kid.
Yeah, what if the man takes the child and then makes her pay for adoption? But if she signs away over her rights, she doesn't have to pay for child support. If she doesn't want to have anything to do with the child, yeah, she can totally sign away her rights, and there is no child support whatsoever involved in that.
Mm-hmm.
But also, I wanted to ask Montana a question because since you're married, okay, let's say you, God forbid, you got raped or whatever, and you got pregnant.
God forbid.
God forbid. Like, and then you have a husband, right? So
I do, yes.
Okay, so is your husband going to be okay with you keeping the baby that you were raped on? You have to think about that. Like, you have to put that in consideration.
Don't care.
Because he's going to think about that traumatic experience. And he's going to be like, well,
he's going to think about my traumatic experience. Fuck him. If he seriously has a problem with my traumatic experience, I think get the fuck out of here. Bye.
What?
Wait, but I thought you said you wanted to agree.
I don't care. If he had a problem with that I got raped, like allegedly, then you're gonna be okay. I'm sure you're gonna make it. I'm not.
So you don't think that he would treat that child differently than the other children that he's already created? Or there would be conflict in your marriage knowing that that child was totally different, like that traumatic experience that happened to you would affect your marriage and the other kids. There's
my emoji.
There's so many other factors that go along.
There's a lot of, her beliefs are her beliefs, right? And she can stand her ground in her beliefs. And of course, we never attack each other on this, and that's not what we're doing. We don't do that here.
No, I know.
We just try to gain a better understanding.
Listen, if someone came up to me, some chick came up to me and said, back when we were 17 years old, your husband got me pregnant, and this is this child, I'd go, bring him in. Let's bring them all in. Like, I wouldn't feel a certain way about it. I mean, yeah. I mean, if he had a problem with me having the child, I don't know what to tell you. It's my kid. It's half my kid. It's half the rapist. But whoever that guy is,
there are women who have kept pregnancies from incest and rape and continue to go on and raise that child as their own. I don't think it's
Absolutely.
impossible. I think a mother's love is a mother's love regardless. I think you can separate the act that happened to the love that you have for that child, because it's a whole human being that did nothing to you. And
Nothing has nothing to do with it. Has
so
nothing to do with it.
I
Stopping a beating
absolutely
heart, I don't agree with.
so I absolutely understand where you're coming from. Not everybody's gonna be able to understand that or feel the same way. Some people may feel like I just can't. I can't do it. I can't do the constant reminder. I can't be traumatized. This is not the right time in my life, or
That's
whatever.
okay too.
And right,
Right.
and it's completely their decision. But
Absolutely.
going back to this here right here, I don't think it's solely the woman's decision.
No,
I don't.
I
I
don't
think
either.
I think that.
So you guys, if you disagree with your partner completely, you're at a stalemate.
You sound
I mean,
Catholic. Die hard.
Yeah,
so
Very
if
good.
you disagree with the other parent completely, it's a stalemate. Neither one of you will budge. I mean, you don't think that the woman gets the last call?
Yeah, I feel like the woman gets the last call because
but that's where court comes in play. If he's really and this is what I mean. If he's really that adamant about having this child, then that's where he goes and he gets an injunction on her uterus, like I said. But if
that's
he's not, then it's ultimately her decision. If he's not going to if he is not going to take those steps, then he's not that serious, and therefore ultimately it falls on her.
yeah. I mean, it's true, but then what if she gets an abortion before that whole process happens? You know?
Well, the minute that they go into court, if like I'm making this up because I don't know, but I would think that the minute that they go into court, if somebody correct me if you know better than me, uh, that's an immediate injunction until the judge gets to make that order. I mean, gets to make that decision. Like from that moment that motion is put in, I believe that it's an all stop. Just like, and again, somebody correct me if I'm wrong. I don't even know if there's precedence for this. I believe there is. I believe there are some. I believe there is. Anybody want to Google it? Um, of precedence of men. Here, I'm gonna go look it up. Y'all keep talking. I'm gonna look this up.
What?
I'm gonna look it up.
With how many men?
What does Catholic have to do with having an opinion? That blows my mind. What does that have anything to do with what I'm saying? Can you guys like
I think it's
chime
your
in here?
belief.
Montana, you sound Catholic. That's
I
the
don't know,
the
because Catholics are so anti-abortion, I guess.
Well, I'm
maybe.
not. Listen, I have friends who do it all the time, and I don't judge them. I'm just like, okay,
Right.
well, how'd you feel?
So
Like
he
I'm just
said
saying. Go ahead.
he said Robert says they say 1% of abortions are because of rape, but we also know that rape is scandalously unreported. I'm willing to bet it's much more than 1%. And I totally agree with that because a lot of women do not report rape or
Yeah.
abuse or anything
It's a
like
whole
that.
different topic.
Yes.
But
We
yes,
we can dive on that on another show.
that's a different podcast.
That is so that's yeah.
But that has
That's
nothing to do with how I feel about stuff. That's just me feeling like after seeing my children, and being home all day long, I don't do anything but be with my kids. There's at no point would I say if I was pregnant that I would want to get, like you said. I mean, you can't. I wouldn't feel right about it. It wouldn't be right.
see,
So,
I'm
so
there.
Robert's right. It says the Supreme Court has found laws requiring a spouse's consent for an abortion to be unconstitutional in Planned Parenthood versus Danforth. The court reasoned that a husband's refusal to consent would, in effect, veto a woman's choice to terminate a pregnancy, while both prospective fathers and pregnant women have an interest in the decision. When the two disagree, only one partner's position can prevail. According to the court, since the woman actually carries the pregnancy, the balance weighs in her favor, preventing the husband from vetoing her choice.
This is why I didn't want to say this, because there's guys on the panel. I didn't vote for a lot of people because of their political views on this. Bill Clinton approved the bill to allow partial birth abortion. You can have an abortion up until they're like 8 months, 9 months. And
hold on. We're not going to go there because
that bothered me.
No. You have it wrong. That is for extreme medical cases only.
That's not a thing, dude. That's not a thing.
Yes, it is. If a woman, listen, you're asking a nurse here, and I'll be very serious. There are certain medical conditions that can occur with a woman in late term pregnancy that if she continues on with this pregnancy, she will die. It's a thing. It's a very big thing.
Get that.
There's preeclampsia, there's placenta previa, there's syndrome X. There's shit that nobody even knows about. I've been in the operating room while women are giving birth where you have 3 cords, the Weber's cord on the placenta, where there's 3 that are supposed to tie in together, yet they separate and insert into the placenta separately. And if that is detached while giving birth, the woman will hemorrhage to death. There are so many things that are done no, there are medical conditions towards late term pregnancy that can cause the woman's death if she proceeds. That was the only partial late term abortions that were approved. Anything else before that is not. In some states, it's 18 weeks. In some states, it's 24 weeks. That is not 8 months of pregnancy.
That was back when Clinton was in office.
I'm telling you, that was not his bill that he was trying to pass.
Late term, dude. Late term is late term. You're pregnant.
No, that's not. No. Everybody has that misconception about late term abortion. They put that all together. It's not. Late term abortion is still 24 weeks. It's still 17 weeks. That's still late term because you're later in the term. It's not end term. You can't go and a day before your due date have a termination of the pregnancy. That's not how that happens. That doesn't work. You can't. That's impossible.
I mean, it's different. It's different when you talk about whether you're gonna die during giving birth.
He's a surgical technician, just so you know.
If someone was going to tell me like I'm gonna die if I give birth to a child that I'm carrying and I already have kids, it's like, what am I gonna choose? Am I gonna choose living for the kids that I have or dying for the child that I don't have and leaving those kids behind? You know, that is a very touchy subject. And it's like, what is your decision on that? Because you have to make a choice. You have to decide, am I going to keep living for the kids that I have now, or am I going to die for the child that I have never even met? And that's like a totally different subject than abortion. It's like, I mean, it's the same thing, but it's like
different playing field. Yep.
That's a totally different playing field because you've already raised these children.
She's over there winning.
No,
she's like,
no. He's actually no, sir. That's why I'm like, excuse me, Frankie.
Thank you for commenting and watching. We love it. Thank you.
Yeah. I think we beat this like a dead horse.
Yeah.
Don't we always?
But I love it. I love that we have all different views on this. We weren't all on the same page. We definitely took different twists and turns here. We did go through, like Alice said, a roller coaster of emotions. You know, so I should have opened this in the top of the podcast because we usually don't have people at the top that we do at the end, but we're definitely going to be promoting it on the pages. We're definitely going to be promoting it on our new Instagram page. we are going to add 2 new segments to the show, and it's going to be
so
really
excited.
fun and interesting. One of them, our lovely Miss Spitter came up with, and it's going to be asking for a friend, right? And
Love that. I love that.
Yeah.
basically, what we want you guys to do is anonymously email us at powerpladies@gmail.com any questions that you want to either ask the panel or you want the panel to ask the guests. We can, if you want us to say who you are, we'll say who you are. If you want to keep it anonymous, we'll definitely keep it anonymous. But this should be interesting and fun.
Yeah.
I
We got
can't wait.
loved every minute.
Thanks,
Um,
Alan.
and our second segment, we're gonna keep that a secret for right now because it's kind of still in the works, but it's gonna be fun and interesting too. But we definitely would like to start with this starting next Monday. So be on the lookout for the question, our posts and then reminders to inbox us so we know what you guys want us to ask. And it could be anything that you want. Love you too, Steph.
Yeah.
But I do want to remind you guys to go to our YouTube channel, like, subscribe, tell your friends to tell their friends. Listen, you guys need to be sharing our podcast on your pages. Go to whoever, if you're friends with us or if you're on Clockwatch, go in, share it on your page so that your friends can watch it and then start liking and we grow. Like we want to just grow and reach out to the masses. And you see, we could go from 0 to 100 in about 2 hours. So
Yes.
we want you to do that. And remember to tune in on Mondays at 9 p.m. Eastern. To Power P, and then on every Tuesday and Sunday at 9 o'clock, we have our Clock Watch podcast. But also, I know I'm giving you guys a lot of information. Don't worry, I'm going to record the page. But please, please, please go to our new IG account and follow us. I'm really going to try to be as active in there. All of us going to be on it. All 4 of us are managing the page. So join us, videos, clips, reminders, cute little things. Maybe, you'll get to know a little more about us, more than what you see on here in Clockwatch, because Clockwatch gets bombarded with a lot of posts. But, and I'm going to say goodbye and pass it to
Hold
my
on, is this an app? Do I have to download this?
No,
Instagram?
you have an Instagram account, right?
No.
Oh, well then you get an Instagram account. Okay.
Yeah.
We
And
are
then-
part of Instagram now. We are branching
Okay.
out. Okay. We have
Okay, I'm new.
big things.
I'll get it.
we are doing
All right.
big things here. Okay.
Well, listen,
I'm
you don't
trying.
hold on. You don't have to create an account because we already have Power P Ladies.
Okay, I'll log into
So
that.
I
You
will
do have
show
to
you how
download it though.
Okay,
You
I
have
got
to
it.
download the app though, and then we'll show you how to use it.
Okay.
So
We
see
got-
you
we got
Friday,
you.
Montana.
But Power P Instagram is all about women and our perspectives and what we want to post as women and how we feel on a daily basis. And we also want the men to comment or I mean, if you have any questions at all, questions, perspectives on things, any type of things that you want to get to know more about women, not just us individually, but women in general. We want to hear your comments. We want to hear your questions because we could definitely bring your topics into our podcast and we can talk about it live on air. And also, we can also bring you live on air just to hear a man's perspective. I mean, yes, it's a ladies podcast. It's a woman's perspectives on things, but we also want to hear men's perspectives on things. So if you are very adamant about a certain topic and you want to hear us talk about it, or you want to put your perspective on that shit, let us know and we will definitely bring you on that shit. So, Stephanie, you need to get with the program, girl. Okay.
So who you sending it over to, lady?
I'm gonna send it over to Miss Spitter.
All right. Thanks for having me again. Definitely send your stuff to the Gmail, asking for a friend. We want to hear all the weird stuff, all of it.
All of it.
I am ready for some entertainment from you guys. We will be on the Instagram. We'll be in the page. All of us are on there all the time, talking and commenting. So come chat with us, and we'll see you next week. And oh, Montana, I love that you asked that about Instagram. That is just amazing.
Listen, I
That
don't
just
have
made my
it.
night.
I don't have Instagram. I don't know what that means. But yes, absolutely. Like I will be on it and everyone needs to get in it. And I want the comments. I want to hear what everyone has to say. I want to hear, like, this is our perspective on stuff. So I want to hear your perspective. I want to hear how you feel about it and your responses to how we feel about it. This is learning each other. This is a cool experience. I absolutely love this. So keep it coming. Keep the comments coming.
All right. And on that note, everybody, we will see you tomorrow, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for our regular Clock Watch. You can find it on YouTube or you can find it on the Clock Watch Facebook page. So on that note, hold on. We've got 2 more comments. Oh, no, you don't, Jackie. And TikTok now.
Oh gosh, my
Alan,
daughter
go
loves
for it.
TikTok.
Yo,
That's like a 9-year-old thing. I'm all set.
Good night, guys. Have a great night. Thanks for joining. Take
bye,
care.
guys.